Whether you're joining a Product Marketing Alliance event for the first time, or if you're a seasoned regular, welcome to the second edition of the Customer Marketing Summit. Before we dive into the day's content, we just want to say a huge thank you to our sponsors, partners, speakers, and you, our lovely audience. From wherever you are watching in the world, we're sure you'll enjoy the sessions from our incredible lineup. With expert presentations, specialist talks, and deep dive panel sessions on the agenda, you are in for a real treat today. To get the most out of these sessions, please ensure you are sharing your feedback and asking all your questions in the comments section, and our speakers will be answering them throughout the day. After the event, a great place to continue the conversation is in the customer marketing channel in the PMA Slack community. If you aren't already a member, hop on over and come and join the discussion. And if that's still not enough, then why not become a PMA Pro member and benefit from unlimited access to exclusive templates, frameworks, and our entire library of videos and slide decks from all our events. So with all that to come, let's dive right into the next session.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to our session today on building an always-on advocacy engine. Today, we'll start off with some introductions and a background on our approach to customer marketing at Looker, and then we'll deep dive into customer advocacy and the engine that we've built. Finally, since we are data lovers here at Looker, we'll wrap up with a look at how we measure success and show the ROI of all of the work that we've been doing. I'm Mare Newton, Senior Manager of Customer Marketing at Looker, which is part of Google Cloud. And I've been with Looker for over 5 years, and I primarily focus on customer engagement, campaigns, and programs. And with me today is my amazing colleague, Matt Arut. Matt, I'll pass it over to you for an intro.
Thanks, Mare. Hi, everyone. My name is Matthew Arut, and I've been with Looker for about 2 years now, and I run the Customer Advocacy Program. My goal is really to identify, recruit, and engage with our top advocates to support marketing, sales, and events. I'm really excited to speak with you today.
Thanks, Matt. So let's jump right in. I'll start with a quick overview of how we approach customer marketing at Looker. So this is what we call our customer marketing bow tie. We have a traditional demand gen funnel that focuses on really driving awareness, educating prospects, and accelerating deals in order to acquire new customers. Once an account becomes a customer, that's where our team takes over. And we handle things like scaled outreach in order to engage those new customers. And then through that engagement, we strive to help those customers be successful so that they adopt, grow their usage, add new products and new use cases, and really grow how much they're using our product. And then finally, of course, those happy customers work with us to develop content and become advocates so that we can then pipe all of that content back into our demand engine. So this is sort of a view of how we think about the content, because really customers are the center of it all. They're the center of all of the content and campaigns that we're running. Their pain points, their successes, that really drives our strategy and our messaging. So our advocacy engine is not just fueling our marketing pipeline overall, it's really forming the foundation for everything that we do. So in order to build up those advocates that are so important to us and that fuel all of our marketing efforts, we first need to have happy customers. So I'll dive a little bit deeper into the customer marketing components of our marketing engine and how we utilize those scaled touch points with customers to really foster customer success. So in our customer marketing team, we really focus on engagement, growth, and then of course, advocacy. And so I'll start by going through how we think about each of these from a customer perspective by putting ourselves in the customer's shoes. So as a customer using a product like Looker, should you go back one slide, please?
No problem.
So yes, this is the customer view. So as a customer using a product like Looker, one of my primary goals is really to learn about the product capabilities so that I can understand how the product can help me. This is especially true for new customers coming on, but as well as for customers that have been around for a while, because we do have frequent software releases and new things coming out that we need to educate them on. Think about the last time you started using a new product. I very recently started using Pendo for the first time, which is a tool that Looker uses for in-application announcements. And the first thing that I wanted to do when I got in there was to learn how to set up a guide and set up an announcement. If I were to start receiving sales messages from Pendo right away, I'd be a little turned off. So we try to keep that in mind, where our customers are and what they're looking for at any given point in their journey. Once we do have a customer engaged and we know that they're starting to see the value of the product, that's when they might become interested in finding new ways to use the product. That's how I would feel, at least. So for Looker, what this means is, maybe rolling out to new departments, incorporating new data sets to solve for new use cases, or possibly embedding analytics. So we aim to really hold off on these messages until the customer has indicated in some way that they're ready to learn more about those types of opportunities. And then finally, as a hopefully happy, successful, and growing customer, I might be willing to talk about my experiences and share success stories. So this is really where we try to get our customers to. And getting them to that stage is really the holy grail, because this is what creates the validation for all of the marketing claims that we make. And so let's now dive into a little more about what we do as a marketing team in order to help nurture customers along with this journey in mind. So engagement, this is really the first step. In general, we try to use our knowledge of our customers to get the right message to the right person at the right time. Sounds a lot easier than it is. We have a lot of different types of users who interact with Looker and with data, all in different ways. So to engage users across our customer base, we focus on targeted emails and web events, which includes things like tailored onboarding for different types of users, from people who just look at dashboards to people who are administering the entire platform. We look at things like nurture programs to showcase high value features of the platform, like out-of-the-box integrations with other tools. We host webinars that highlight new product features that have been released and how they work. And of course, we have digital events that really focus on key segments of our customer base, like a particular industry, so that we can showcase how other customers are using Looker and getting value. And really a core component of events like these, email nurtures, all of the content that comes out through customer engagement, are the customer stories and case studies that we have through advocacy. So really it all comes back to advocacy. The next stage in our customer funnel is growth. So as customers really engage with our emails and attend our events, we look for signals that they may be interested in doing more. For example, if a customer using Looker for internal business intelligence downloads content about data monetization, then that signals to us that they might be interested in expanding from internal analytics to an embedded use case. So to really nurture customers through this part of the journey, we lean on things like product demos that highlight the benefits of additional product offers, or intimate roundtables that, again, lean on our customer base who are already successful with some of these new use cases to connect with customers thinking about taking that next step so that they can learn from each other. And for larger customers, we even host events called data days that bring together people from different departments or subsidiaries within the same organization so that they can learn from each other in a more private, intimate, internal setting. And then finally, the third stage in our funnel is advocacy, because all of these activities that we're doing really helps us build up a database of happy, healthy customer advocates. And advocates are what enable us to continue to engage and grow our customer base by sharing their stories through blogs, through case studies, through their knowledge at events and roundtables. So we really do make customers the focal point of our messaging, and the work that Matt has been doing to build our customer advocacy program is really what's enabling us to do this at scale. So with that, I will pass it over to the amazing Matt Arut himself to talk about our customer advocacy program.
Thanks, Mary. It's great to see the customers all the way through the funnel there. I'd like to talk a little about advocacy. It's the tent pole of our program, as we call it. At Looker, we have a couple different ways of thinking about advocacy, but I like to break it down, as most great presentations have, as a pyramid. We have three types of advocacy activities: high touch activities, medium touch activities, and low touch activities. High touch activities are ones that are going to take the most amount of time. They're the ones that you really want to make really white glove treatment for the customer. And examples of those are brand campaigns, keynote speakers, and press and analyst opportunities. For medium touch advocacy activities, we have things like reference calls, case studies, blogs, and event speakers for breakout sessions and things like that. These are events and touches that are going to still need you to react and work with the customer, but they're not as white glove as some of the high touch activities that you're building at the top. And then we've got low touch activities. These are things that are absolutely vital to the business, but they really don't take much interaction. You can do them, what we kind of joke about is at scale. We have online reviews, analyst reports, and community activity and engagement. So those are the types of activities that we do for advocacy here at Looker. And I want to have you all learn a little bit about what are some tips and tricks and strategies that we put into place to make sure that we are able to support all of that. I don't know about you, but in my experience being a customer advocacy manager, there's never enough of me. I wish I could have 5 people on a team, but usually there's 1 or 2 people that run the customer advocacy program. So we really want to make sure that you're able to prioritize and work, to the top of a level of your ability there, but also have as much output as possible and focus on the right things. So in my years of experience, I put together a couple tips and strategies that we use here at Looker that I hope you can walk away with. The first tip is automate advocacy. Everything that you can do to automate things, go ahead and start doing that. That's going to give you the ability to start doing some of the high touch activities that you really need to be focusing on that take more of your time and personal approach. So I always do is I start with the NPS results. Most companies all do an NPS, but the question is, what are you doing with those promoters? So for me, what we have set up is if someone's a promoter, we automatically put them on an email drip campaign for online reviews with G2, Gartner Peer Insights, Capterra, all these online review sites give the opportunity for you to then automate an email to send out to your customers if they give you a high NPS result. The question is, will they recommend you? Well, let's see if they will recommend you. You can do that through, Marketo or any of your email platforms. The other thing that we do is we automate advocacy for community engagement. If someone is willing to give us a high NPS score, we also want to encourage them to drive them into the community so that they can engage and be part of our community and contribute back to some of the discussions, which really help us out by answering some questions that other customers might have and really building like a really great community of customers. Another way we automate advocacy is we use Tech Validate for lightweight customer content. So instead of reaching out to every single customer for a case study, we can do email blasts that send out to specific customers based on NPS and engagement. And then we ask them to complete the Tech Validate survey, which then creates a lightweight case study. These are some simple things that you can do really quick that are going to make a difference and give you more time to focus on the rest of these strategies. I highly encourage you jumping in and trying to automate as much as you can. Platforms such as Influitive and things like that are also great for you to leverage. Sometimes those take some time to maintain, but the value is there too. The second strategy I would suggest is aligning on goals. So, what is a measurable program goal? We always talk about what are the goals of the program and things like that. Every program is going to be a little bit different. And as long as you set up what your main goal is, focus on that and then build cascading goals for each of the departments. Before you do anything, you're going to have that conversation of executive buy-in and leadership commitment to advocacy. I'm assuming you're all working on that already, but when the rubber hits the road is measurable goals and aligning with the other teams. For example, the customer success team at Looker and I connected and we built some mutual goals for their team. One of my goals was to drive online reviews, tech validate, things of that nature, things that they could reach out to their customers and ask them to complete that wouldn't mean any handholding on my part, but something that our customer success team could take the lead on. And so what I did is I built advocacy in a box templates, emails that they could send to the customer, really simple copy and paste that they can take advantage of. But I also aligned with the leadership of customer success, and they are held accountable for specific advocacy goals and activities. So each quarter, they're responsible for a certain amount of advocacy activities. And it's really great because we all align on how important they are. And I then can pass that responsibility onto the team and know that it's going to get done. And, that's just one example. You can work with your sales team. You can work with professional services. We have, really lucky at Looker, we have the Department of Customer Love, and that's our support team. And it's really great to work with them also to identify product advocates and those that want to give feedback on new features and things like that. So just again, aligning on your goals, but building cascading goals down to other teams is really an easy way for you to, again, shift some of the responsibility and advocacy activities to other teams so that they can be held accountable, but also it's exciting for them because they can hit their goals. And at the end of the day, it's all moving your advocacy program in the right direction. So those are two really easy strategies that you can put together to start building more time for yourself to do the third part, which is household names. At the end of the day, for me and Looker specifically, we really want to focus on getting advocacy from some of the largest household names in the world. I always want these customers take more time and commitment because you have to put on the white glove treatment for them. And if you're busy doing online reviews, getting customers for analyst reports, doing all these activities, you're not spending the time on the household names. So if you do the first two, you're going to have more time for the household names. So tips that I think with that are understanding what brand campaigns you have going on this year. Understand very clearly from your marketing team, what are your needs for the year? If you can align with them, you can start strategizing on which customers you should be spending your time with. Don't shoot for all the great customers. Sometimes you have a ton of great customers and you can go reach out to a lot of them, but you're spreading yourself thin. In my experience, pick about 10 accounts. Align with CS, sales, marketing, that these are the 10 accounts that you really want to focus advocacy on, and then do some really great things for them, such as building out a year-long co-marketing plan and presenting it to the team. Being able to present to that customer and say, this is how we want to co-market with you for the year. It gives you a guiding roadmap for the year of what to expect. It sets expectations at the beginning of what they're signing up for. And it also sets up the cadences that you really need to start reaching out to them on a monthly or quarterly basis and letting them know, hey, we've done the press release with you. Next step is we'd love to do a case study. After that, we'd like to take you through, a speaking at an event. Really think of co-marketing as a journey that you're going on with the customer and setting that expectation up at the beginning. And don't try to do that for all of your accounts. Pick 10 and just rock those 10 out. The other thing that I would do is, in my experience, get in front of their PR and comms team as soon and early as possible. Many times you're going to have amazing, great advocates that are willing to do a lot of things. But at these larger brand household name companies, you really need to focus on getting with their PR and comms team so that they do everything correctly. Become best friends with the PR and comms team. Set up monthly meetings with them. You're going to have your customer success team, your sales team are all going to be reaching out to these customers and making sure you're working with them. But if you align with the PR and comms team, when those activities and opportunities come up, the paperwork and the release forms and all of those things just make it really quick, and you're already set ahead of the whole process. So my suggestion is definitely get aligned with the PR teams of those accounts as early as possible and become best friends with them. Now, the fourth strategy is really one that we should all be doing: reporting and over communicating. Usually there's one or two people running an advocacy program, so your time is really valuable, but this is so important. You have to drive visibility to your program for you to, one, ask for more resources in the next year, two, to keep top of mind that the program is going on. And CS and sales, everybody is busy, and you want to make sure that this is always top of mind and bringing it up there. So what I do personally here at Looker is I do weekly update emails to the customer success team, letting them know what opportunities are coming up, what happened this week, and hey, just a reminder, if you have great customers, here's the process to bring them to my attention. The second one is I would do event-specific emails. So let's say you have a user conference coming up, or you have a prospect conference coming up. and you're responsible for collecting and building out these customer speakers, do daily updates. Everybody needs to see the status of your selection of the customers and how things are moving so that you can keep top of mind. And it also is a great way for you to bring visibility to your program. But more importantly, every day you get to see incremental improvements. So let's say for your user conference, you have 10 customers that you have to select. And the first week you get 1, second week you get 2. After these, you send it to the head of sales, head of CS, the leadership team that you think is right, and keeping them in the loop of what's going on is going to give you more visibility for your program, but also a reminder to those teams, oh, hey, just when they're in their weekly meetings, they're going to cascade that message down to their team. It's really important. And then the last suggestion is just one that I personally love. Make sure you thank those that have helped you. When a customer success manager or sales rep or professional services brings a customer to your attention, or they help do an introduction to a customer, do whatever you can to send thank you to them, but also CC their manager on it. They're going above and beyond. Advocacy is a company-wide objective and something we all need to do. And so when they do something for you, make sure you thank them. And that's going to make that person want to do more advocacy with you again in the future. They're also building their career. When they do their annual reviews, they want to copy and paste an email that said, oh, so-and-so really brought up the best customer to my attention, and they're now a keynote speaker at our conference. Take the time and thank the people that have helped you along the way, and it'll do you a lot of good. So those are the 4 big strategies for Looker's advocacy engine. And I also want to just show you really quick. We actually use Looker to manage our program. So I have a process set up and using a dashboard within Looker. It's our BI intelligence platform, so that at any time, anybody can jump right in and see the status of my program. This is an example of my dashboard that tells the total number of advocates, number of unique accounts, who actually referred them, what's my growth over time, and then I break it down by segments, by product type. Really simple. When anybody or executive, anyone at all wants to see what's going on with your program, I can then send them a link to this dashboard and they can easily see what's going on. If you don't have Looker, you can use different other platforms too, but I would definitely suggest, Looker is a great way to learn a little bit and showcase the work that you're doing. And Mayor, I'd love to pass on to you and talk about, how we measure success here at Looker.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Matt. So Matt's touched on a lot of great tips for advocacy. I talked a bit about how our broader marketing funnel works, but how do we actually measure the success of what we do? It's always tricky, especially on the customer side, because there are so many touch points happening with each of those customers and users that we connect with. So I'll walk through a few metrics that we use to measure the success of our own programs and give you some ideas of how we think about it. So I'll start with some really high-level metrics that are important to us. And the first is user adoption. It's really a primary way that we try to move the needle and make our customers successful. And we do a lot of work here through onboarding initiatives. So we've built 4 different onboarding email nurture streams, and those really target and capture every new account and persona at the right point in their life cycle based on the product that they purchased and the way in which they interact with Looker. So once we launched these new 4 programs, we actually compared the new cohort of customers going through the new streams with a previous cohort who didn't go through these new streams. So what we found is that when we looked at this scaled onboarding program, customers who went through the 5-month scaled program saw a 150% higher user adoption rate, and that's monthly active users over total purchase licenses, in month 5, so at the end of that program, compared with those who did not go through. So that was one way that we were able to implement something to try to move the needle on user adoption and then actually measure the success of that program. The second thing that, of course, we want to be doing as a team is really moving the needle for upsell pipeline. So our team actually built our upsell engine from scratch, and thanks to a combination of cross-sell campaigns, educational email nurtures that I've talked about, different webinars and events that, of course, feature our amazing customer advocates, we were able to produce an outstanding group of upsell opportunities for our sales team. So we saw year over year, and this was 2019 to 2020, since we're still in 2021, we saw a 340% year over year increase in marketing sourced pipeline. So the pipeline that we were actually able to source as a marketing team in upsell opportunities for sales. And then we also saw a 440% increase year over year in marketing influenced pipeline. So this isn't necessarily the opportunities that we're sourcing for the sales team, but ones that we're helping to nurture along once they become opportunities. Finally, on the advocacy front, in addition to, of course, supporting all of the campaigns and programs and content that help drive those other metrics with our onboarding programs and our upsell campaigns, Matt was able to bring in over 700 new customer reviews. And this really helped Looker become a leader on the key industry reports that we focus on, like BARC, G2, Gartner Peer Insights. And those are so important for our business and our sales team. So I actually want to kind of double click into that metric specifically, because one of the most important things about this is that Matt was able to automate the reviews campaign so that not only brought in results, but it required no time from him after it was set up. So he was freed up to focus on the household names and the brand campaigns and the other things that he mentioned earlier that really take up a much more significant portion of his time. So here's a program that's super important for our business and something that through scaled touch points and some upfront effort, Matt was able to create something that would self-sustain so that he can focus on those things that really do require that more personalized touch. So what this funnel is showing is that we were able to, through a set of 2 emails, and this was in Q1 of 2021, we were able to reach over 400 customers. And of those customers, a little over half actually opened the emails, which is great. And just under 20% did end up leaving us reviews, which is really helpful. It shows us, number one, that we have successfully engaged our customers to the point where they want to leave us reviews. And number two, it gave us over 700 reviews, which is what propelled us, as I mentioned, into the leader category on those 3 major reports that really are vital assets for our sales teams and our business as a whole. And with that, we'll wrap up. I hope this gave you some tips for how you can build an advocacy program if you haven't yet, or if you do have an advocacy program, how you can scale that program, even if, like us, you may just have a team of 1. Thank you and have a great day.
Bye, everyone.